Hello, we have here Xavier Font, the Professor of Sustainability Marketing at the Surrey University. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Xavier is a guru of sustainability marketing, and I know that you are coming to the Green Destinations Conference with a very interesting workshop. So if you can tell more about what you prepared for the delegates.
So I'm really excited to be here because there's so much work that we can do. And in the last few years, I think we've realized residents are so much more important than they were before. And we've realized how reducing seasonality really is essential for tourism. So what I'm presenting is the result of a large-scale European project where we've been looking at how to reduce seasonality by designing more sustainable tourism experiences. Linked to that, I'm also doing a workshop where we're looking at how do we combine data from carbon footprint of visitors with data on economic expenditure from those visitors to change the way in which we target and segment markets.
Can you share some practical ideas for the businesses and destinations coming from the research, from your experience, so that they can implement and reduce seasonality, communicate sustainability better? Some of your favorite inspiring examples.
Okay, so the first thing I want to mention is destination management organizations are guilty for part of the seasonality that they tend to blame the markets for. We are now in September. If I look at the websites, for example, of many of the destinations who are here today, their destinations are showing people wearing shorts and t-shirts, going to the beach and saying, essentially, don't come to my destination until next year in May or June. You stop marketing high season. High season markets itself. The private sector will do it for you. As a destination, you must only market low season. And you need to think much more creatively about how you go about marketing. If you think that your job is just marketing the places already well known, like if you were Paris and you said, my job is marketing the Eiffel Tower, you're really mistaken. Places like that market themselves. So you need to change the way in which you think. You need to consider different markets. You need to consider much better the alternative experiences you can create. You'll have to be much more creative with how you design products. You'll have to collaborate with residents on how you communicate and you market and do some storytelling for your destination. It's going to be harder, but nobody said your job should be easy.
And the businesses still live in this perspective now or never. We don't know whether the borders will be closed, what's going to happen next. So they want to get as many tourists as possible. How to fight with this approach?
This makes sense, but at the same time, we've learned that we need to combine multiple markets now. You can no longer say my market is this particular segment because there's a high risk in just putting all your eggs in one basket. So what we've learned during COVID is we need to combine residents and day visitors and overnight visitors from local markets, even when they may have a lower expenditure per person, but you need to combine those with potentially higher spending visitors. The other thing to consider is we never consider the cost. So we need to start segmenting markets, but based on what's the carbon footprint of that market versus what is going to be the economic expenditure for that market. And on that basis, we need to look at ways in which we definitely increase length of stay or we change the mode of transport and so on. And I know many destinations say, yeah, I want to increase length of stay, want to spread geographically where people come from. But you look at the marketing materials and I feel like we're in 1990. So we haven't changed. I'm still selling the same brochure translated to 2 more languages on the basis that, in Barcelona, Gaudí still is the main attraction of the place. And you're thinking, duh, yeah, but just translating it to Japanese and Russian is not going to be enough to diversify your markets or your products or reduce seasonality. We still keep selling to first-time visitors and hoping that something will change. Now, what we're not going to get is with incremental changes, you're not going to have radical improvements. It doesn't work like that.
So what are the good practices? Which destinations really manage to reduce seasonality?
Well, here's the great challenge, isn't it? Because we don't really have an easy solution when it comes to that. We've got a number of destinations that have been forced to change how they do it, but all the changes have been relatively incremental, okay? And so I'm not going to give you a name of destination, by the way, that's what you're looking for. You'll have to come and wait and see some of the slides and the actual presentation itself, okay? But we've got a number of destinations that really work at combining those multiple markets. Actually, the greatest innovation really tends to come from the private sector, where you're seeing companies that out of necessity, they really had to change and diversify and create new products and look for experiences. So like people look at the winter and they say, well, it's cold, it's dark and wet. Let's not do any marketing, right? Whereas I'm thinking, no, it's cold, it's dark and wet. This creates opportunities for things that you cannot do when it's warm, it's sunny, it's hot, and it's crowded, okay? It's not just the fact that you've got fewer visitors. And what I've also learned is destinations and businesses can get much, much more creative in the low season than they can in the high season. If we just look at the low season as a time to rest because we're exhausted from the high season, our business model is totally wrong. We're treating these as a sprint, not as a marathon.
Okay, so we need to come to your workshop.
Indeed.
The last question I have, we are at the Green Destinations Conference, which is a certification scheme.
Yes.
What role certifications play in sustainability marketing and Untitled Chapters?
Okay. Certification is not a marketing tool, insofar as we just have not learned for the last 20 odd years how to successfully use it that way. We may use it for business-to-business marketing or sustainable supply chain management, the flip side of the same coin, but we have not been able to use it successfully as a business-to-consumer marketing. Certification, however, is a great tool of bringing many people in the same destination together to work towards a common goal and to get politicians to actually give recognition to the amazing work that many people in UDMO are doing to actually try to create that sense of scale and that sense of purpose. But as a marketing tool for destinations, we have a really long way to go.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
See you tomorrow
You're welcome.
then.
See you tomorrow.